What's the point of a million views if none of them want what you're offering?
Great brands don't always need to show the logo to get recognised.
More than 80 billion views across social media.
Let's move on to the naughty list.
The naughty are the ones that miss the mark, the tone deaf, confusing, or they overpromise and underdeliver. You don't need big budgets or, a lot of money. The campaigns that won were the ones that actually cared, not just the ones that screamed the loudest. Hi guys, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Welcome back for episode 42 of the Adonis Effect. So whether you're listening while you're unwrapping presents, driving to see some family, or hiding from them, we're glad you're here. This year we've talked a lot about nurturing audiences, shifting from chasing leads to actually building relationships. And honestly, that theme showed up everywhere in 2025. The campaigns that won were the ones that actually cared, not just the ones that screamed the loudest. We also covered conversions, so not just the numbers, but the psychology behind why people buy. And if there's one thing this year proved, it's that meaning converts way more than any marketing trick ever will. And of course, we broke down the importance of qualified traffic, because what's the point of a million views if none of them want what you're offering? The nice list this year is basically a masterclass in relevance, and the naughty list, well, that's just the campaigns that definitely forgot who the audience was. So today's Christmas special kind of ties everything together, the wins, the fails, and the lessons that will make your brand stronger heading into 2026. So let's get into it.
Ho, 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 ho.
All right, so what makes a campaign naughty or nice? So in our episode today, the nice are clever, creative, memorable, on brand, and emotionally resonant. And the naughty are the ones that miss the mark, the tone deaf, confusing, or they overpromise and underdeliver, or they just fail to connect and miss the whole point. So studying both is really important because it allows us to learn from the wins and mistakes, what not to do, and what's working in 2025 as we go into 2026.
So what we can do is we can start looking at some of the nice lists, some of those campaigns that are on the nice list. Okay, so the first one is Heinz. They had a looks familiar global campaign, and what they did there was they launched a global campaign called Looks Familiar, pointing out that typical restaurants, French fry boxes worldwide resemble their iconic Keystone ketchup shape, and subtly reminding consumers that fries really belong with Heinz ketchup. And if you do a search online, you'll be able to find what that campaign looked like. Now, it worked, and it was a brilliant piece of visual brand memory and recognition. So instead of shouting, "We are Heinz," they made people look around and realise, oh, that box looks like Heinz. And it taps into the nostalgia, the subconscious association, and the universal love for fries.
Yeah, I did see that campaign. That one was really very smart, using that iconic Heinz logo, generating that brand recognition.
That's correct, yeah. And the thing is, Heinz just from, you could probably take the word Heinz out of that little
Yeah.
part on their brand, or the logo anyway, and you would know it was Heinz. And that's the whole thing about building brand, right? You want people to instantly recognise what the brand is.
Yeah.
Now, things to think about with this one, great brands don't always need to show the logo to get recognised, which is what we just spoke about. As consistent visual cues such as the colour, the shape, the mood can be enough for to evoke that brand recognition. Subtlety can be much more or very powerful. A clever insight and awesomeness of what's already out there, like fry boxes, can give you an edge. And for any businesses out there, even B2B or service based, identify your own distinctive brand assets, your colours, your icons, your style, then lean into them consistently so your brand becomes recognisable by feel, so that where people can feel that brand. And that's one of the biggest things about brand marketing, and why a lot of especially B2B should be leaning into brand marketing.
Yeah. The next one is the Lewis Capaldi / Aldi cap Aldi rooftop gig. So what they did is Aldi teamed up with Lewis Capaldi for a surprise rooftop gig, blending a bit of music, humor, and retail into a completely unexpected setting. And that turned the supermarket into like a pop-up concert venue. Now this one went absolutely viral. Even mum was sending it to me like, "Oh, look at this. Lewis was on top of Aldi, like ha 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 ha." So this stood out because it was surprise and unexpectedness, and it just came out of nowhere, like there was no teasers or anything about it. And, turning a supermarket into a concert venue or pretending to be one, that breaks through the noise and it challenges brand expectations and gets massive social sharing because it's fun, bold, and shareable.
Right.
People that were there on that day would also be filming saying like, "Whoa, what the hell? Like Lewis Capaldi's right in front of me
Yeah.
at Aldi." And they'll
And
be sharing it and
that's right. And, Aldi are fantastic at their marketing and getting people talking about different things. I mean, they did the same thing with Brewdog, and they had their own IPA and things like that. So they almost
yeah.
looked as if they copied Brewdog when they were doing it. It's good. They're good at what they're doing.
Yeah. So some takeaways for that one is to don't be afraid to be playful or even a little bit cheeky. That marketing that delights tends to spread. Second one is collaborations, even unlikely ones like supermarket and a musician, can reframe how people think about its brand, becomes a bit more playful and fun, and they can connect a little bit easier. And for the smaller businesses, when you think outside the box, you don't need big budgets or a lot of money. You just need that creative risk and the relevance to your audience and that
That's
one
right.
idea that, gives that surprise.
And it's about being different.
Yeah.
Don't be the same. And especially at like Christmas time and New Year, or what if there's an event happening. If you do something completely different out of the ordinary of what as to what people would expect from you, where they've liked it, they've laughed at it and they've felt something from it, that's what will help drive your brand forward.
Yeah. People resonate with it
Yep.
easier.
So you've got another one called, which was Canva Instinct Studios. Yeah, so what they did is Canva leaned into an industry in joke, where clients are always asking designers to make the logo bigger. And they created a campaign highlighting this humorous pain point, using playful visuals and relatable messaging. Now we hear this as well all the time. Can the logo be bigger? When in fact, your logo doesn't need to be bigger because nobody cares.
Yeah.
So why that worked is it was poking fun at a common, often irritating client or brand request, as in make the logo bigger. By leaning into the industry in joke, it humanised Canva, uh, built relatability, and generated social sharing because designers and marketers instantly recognised the frustration because it happens every day.
Yeah. It really does.
It does. And some of the takeaways you can get from this is don't always take yourself too seriously. Brands that show self awareness and humour can build a real connection with their audience.
Yeah.
Use common pain points or frustrations in your industry and own them. That relatability builds trust and likability, and it allows your audience to know that you understand their pain points. So that brings that togetherness even more. Even service and B2B brands can benefit from voice, personality, and human moments. Not everything needs to be ultra serious. Have fun.
Yeah. And I think especially as we're coming into every single year, it's sort of got a bit more relaxed and unserious
Yeah,
because, it doesn't have to be serious. When you have that bit of humor, a bit of fun, bit of authenticity to you, people connect a lot easier.
that's right. But the thing is, I mean, business should be fun. We've got a short time in this world. Uh, and the older you get, believe me, the faster it feels like you're going. So just have a bit of fun. Just relax and just get out there and have a bit of fun with people.
Yeah. Now the next one is an absolute viral sensation over TikTok, and everybody started using it in their own personal ads. It's the Jet2 holidays. So nothing beats a Jet2 holiday anthem slash branding strategy. So what they did was Jet2 ran a campaign centered on a single consistent messaging line that nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And the focus was on emotions, joy, relaxation, and escape, rather than the features of their flights or packages. But in 2025, the social media users, especially on TikTok, started remixing the jingle. I think it goes, take your, I can't even remember. It's something to do with that, taking 4 people off, that's $50 off, $200 off for a family of 4, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
We'll insert the clip in here as well. So they started remixing the jingle, often pairing it with like vacation fails or, holiday mishap clips, and intentionally making it a bit ironic and humorous. So this one stood out as, the campaign's audio racked up massive engagement, more than 80 billion views across social media. Its tagline appeared 11.8 million times on social media posts. And as a result, the company reported record passenger numbers of 14.1 million flyers in 6 months, which is a 750,000 increase compared to the same period the prior year. And their revenue also hit an all-time high at 5.34 billion pounds. So that's about 11 or 12 billion AUD. For that period, with profits rising. So those are, that's a huge testament to just a funny little jingle becoming something so much more, and everybody sharing it and choosing Jet2 for the holidays.
And that's another reason why marketing should be seen as an investment.
Yeah. So the key takeaway with this one was that a simple, catchy jingle with strong emotional irony, and your social media culture, tapping into those culture and people, can have that explosive reach, that virality. Doesn't have to be planned or high budget. Sometimes, letting users take control and remix and repurpose content, even if it's ironic, can amplify your brand reach beyond your expectations.
See.
And, even the traditional industry brands like airlines or holiday providers can benefit from that humor, relatability, and that cultural relevance. And I think even more so than your expected ones, because it's that element of surprise, I guess.
Yep.
That unexpectedness that your brand's going to be funny or relatable. The same thing happens when on TikTok there's this trend going around as well, where people are like, oh, I'm going on a flight, I want to see how many brands can comment on this, or how many brands can send me free PR or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you've got all these brand accounts commenting under their TikToks and stuff. It's not people you'd expect.
And the next one is the Spotify Unwrapped annual Year in Music campaign. So what they did was Spotify Wrapped is an annual campaign. It's been running since 2016, and where Spotify gives each user a personalised year in music report showing their most listened songs, artists, and genres, plus other fun stats about listening habits. The packages data into visually rich, shareable graphics, stories, optimized for social media with bright design, playful copy, and a format that makes it easy to post on Instagram stories or other platforms. Now, it worked because it tapped into personal identity by summarizing a listener's entire year into a music snapshot. Wrapped turns data into a story that feels meaningful and share-worthy, and this emotional resonance encourages people to share it. It leverages user-generated content for organic reach. Users can post their wrapped results, essentially becoming unpaid brand ambassadors. And as of its 2021 edition, Spotify reported 120 million users accessed Wrapped, and about 60 million of them shared their results on social media. That's crazy.
That's
Yeah.
massive numbers.
Yeah, definitely. And the campaign combines nostalgia, fun, ego appeal. Look at my music label and community. So people compare results, laugh or relate with friends. That social buzz creates cultural momentum every December. So Wrapped boosts user engagement, app growth around launch. Historically, the campaign has driven spikes in downloads, listenership and engagement as people log in to check their rap, share, and explore. So yeah, I mean, I know that you were quite involved in doing this yourself because you did something for us. What
Uh,
so
I don't use Spotify myself personally. I switched to Apple just because it's easier. This is like an annual holiday almost. Like
yeah,
people are so anticipated for the Spotify Wrapped, and they wait for it, or they plan out what songs they listen to during the year to have that song as their in their Spotify Wrapped or as their top song or whatever. Like it's very big, and now even other companies like us and all that are doing it because the engagement is so high. People are sharing it and they're laughing it, and it's the same with like the Jet2 holidays when you put your own spin on it and it becomes a bit ironic and a bit funny and
yeah,
relatable. You know, it's just going
that's good.
crazy.
So some of the takeaways that we can take away from that campaign include turning user data into a personalised, shareable story that builds loyalty, and it can make your customer part of the narrative, not just a transaction. Designing for social shareability, which includes visuals and easy share flows, can amplify your reach dramatically. User shared content often outperforms brand ads. There's loads of data around that as well. Marketing doesn't always need to be about selling or pitching. Sometimes giving values through fun, reflection, identity, it can create a deeper engagement that hard selling features or benefits just can't do.
Mm.
You need to think about ways your business can deliver similar personalized moments of recognition or recap like experiences or customers, even in the B2B or service industries, to deepen relationship and encourage advocacy.
Yeah.
Now, authenticity and delight and simplicity will always provide strong shareability. So when people feel good about themselves through your marketing, they're more likely to spread it. That's 100% true.
Yeah. Definitely. And I think this one, Spotify is very smart in the fact that they've packaged up data in a fun and playful way that, makes it brag worthy, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next one is Airbnb. So they transitioned to storytelling and human centric experiences. So what they did is Airbnb focused on highlighting the stories behind stays, guest experiences, host journeys, and the emotional moments that made each trip special. So the strategy emphasized belonging, human connection, and aspirational travel. And this worked because audiences resonated with authentic storytelling rather than just listings. This approach reinforced Airbnb's brand is about experiences, not just selling accommodation. Now, the takeaways with this is that storytelling sells more than just your features and emotions, matter within that storytelling. They also highlight real people, real stories, and authentic experiences. So it's much easier for the customer to connect with that business. And it's human centric marketing, and that builds the trust and that deep connection with your audience.
Fantastic. Well, let's move on to the naughty list. First one on our naughty list is American Eagle with the campaign Great Jeans with Sydney Sweeney. Now, what they did is American Eagle launched a 2025 denim campaign starring actress Sydney Sweeney with the tagline Great Jeans. The ad attempted a cheeky, playful double entendre, blending jeans genres in a way that was meant to be edgy and catchy.
This one was huge over TikTok. People were talking about this, how it was very, yeah, not inclusive,
Yeah.
or it was positioning as, Sydney Sweeney's she's got blue eyes, blonde hair, you kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were saying, oh, you're saying, that's the only great genes, as in physical appearance,
Yeah.
that everybody should have. So they took it. That did not land very well with people.
So what?
It's also a little bit sexualized as well.
Yeah. So why it failed was many consumers and critics found the wordplay tone deaf, exclusionary, and tone deaf. The campaign's pun and imagery were interpreted by some as reinforcing narrow beauty standards, sparking backlash rather than applause. And you can see how that's happened there.
Yeah.
So the takeaways for this is clever wordplay or puns can misfire if they're read poorly across cultural or social lenses. Always consider broader context, beauty, identity, representation before running edgy or provocative campaigns. And always test your messaging with diverse audiences before launch. What seems catchy to some might offend others, and that's the last thing you probably want to do.
Yeah. I think what they could have done to fit, I understand they're trying to use a celebrity for their brand awareness, but I think they should have used a few different people, different ages, different hair colors, different skin colors, just people that looked different, and
Yeah.
did a few different versions of, like, we have great genes, we have great genes. Now everybody has great genes.
Mm.
That kind of wordplay would have hit a lot better than, yeah.
Yeah.
Next one is Elf Cosmetics, the 2020 campaign with controversial spokesperson. So what they did, Elf ran an ad campaign featuring a comedian and a drag performer in a tongue-in-cheek courtroom-style spot, aiming for humor and edginess in promoting their brand. Now, this comedian's actually um, Matt Rife, and he's been in a lot of controversial. He's very misogynistic, very yeah. So this failed because the choice of spokesperson sparked outrage. Past controversies associated with the comedian resurfaced, which led audiences to view the campaign as misaligned with the brand values, especially a beauty brand built around inclusivity. So public sentiment quickly turned negative and forced the company to pull back, and they removed anything about the campaign.
Wow.
So some key takeaways with this is that, hiring talent or influencers comes with their history, and reputational baggage can reflect on your brand. If you're just choosing people for the sake that they have a lot of followers, but your values are misaligned, your clients and your customers are going to see that, and it's going to come across very negatively and probably hurt your brand like it has for Elf.
Yeah.
Rather, if you choose somebody maybe with less followers, but they're more aligned with your company.
Yeah.
Thorough vetting is non-negotiable, so especially when using humor or edginess. And authenticity matters. So if your brand stands out for inclusion, make sure everything that you're going to do for that aligns with that, or you'll risk alienating your core audiences.
Yeah. Well, the next one is Jaguar, and I'm sure everyone's probably seen this in the news with their campaign Copy Nothing, which was their rebrand attempt. So what they did was Jaguar attempted a bold rebrand with a campaign slogan Copy Nothing, accompanied by abstract visuals featuring fashion style models and stylized imagery, but crucially, without showing any cars or emphasizing the brand's heritage. Now, it failed because long-time and potential customers were confused, myself included. The campaign neglected Jaguar's core identity, which was cars, heritage, performance, and felt like a generic luxury fashion ad. As a result, the messaging alienated many and damaged brand trust. Now, some of the takeaways and takeaway for this is rebrands need to honour core brand heritage. Abstract or cool visuals just can't replace clarity about what you actually do. And to be honest, I mean, their ads, very confusing.
Yeah.
Now, if your product or service is the reason people know you, don't hide it behind ambiguity. When shifting brand image, communicate clearly. Losing clarity will 100% lose trust.
Yeah, that ad was really confusing. It looked like more of a Gucci campaign rather than a Jaguar campaign. So we have some honourable mentions and fun surprises. So these are Aussie small campaigns and TikTok wins that we're wanting to highlight. Sticky Australia, they're a TikTok candy shop. So what they did is, they're based in Sydney. They leaned into TikTok by posting fun behind the scenes, like nostalgic candy making store content. And according to a case study, after embracing TikTok video content, they built a massive following and they now have a community of 7.5 million followers on TikTok
Wow.
and hundreds of millions of likes overall. One of the TikToks actually has 116.5 million views and 6.9 million likes. The rock candy, where
Yep.
they're chopping it up. So why did this work? They leaned into the sweet nostalgia and the simple delight of candy, which is universally appealing. You TikTok short form content, format quick, fun reveal, making candy, unwrapping sweets, so that quirky taste test moments. And the content felt real and relatable. That small business, real people, and that simple pleasure. It wasn't overproduced, which resonates really strongly on social media. Now, some key takeaways are that small, local, or niche businesses can go big by using social platforms smartly. You don't need a big budget, you just need to be authentic and consistent. Nostalgia and simple pleasures like, the candy, treats, everyday joys are powerful emotional triggers, especially when they're combined with that video. And as a small business owner, like cleaning or like t-shirt business, you can tap into local, personal, or everyday stories to help build community. People love that humble and genuine content that shows that authenticity, shows the real you.
So the next one is Goldilocks, which is a Melbourne-based bakery. Their campaign was a viral dessert explosion box, and it was on TikTok. What they did was Goldilocks is what they did is was created TikTok content around explosion boxes. So these were gift boxes with cakes, cookies, and treats, and other novelty desserts. The videos gained huge traction, helping them build a massive following and national, even international attention.
Yeah. What with their boxes, they had the cakes or cookies or treats inside, and you'd open the box and it would be like, I don't know exactly what it is. I think it's like paper or something, and it would be like butterflies, but they'd fly out and it would go boom, like an explosion. Yeah.
Cool. Now that worked because of the visual appeal, food, surprises, colours, which is perfect for short form video consumption. People love shareable, feel good content, especially around treats, gifts, and celebrations, because it just makes them feel good as well. And the content played into emotion, delight, indulgence, and nostalgia, which resonates broadly. So, some of the key takeaways for this campaign is if your product or service has visual or emotional appeal, highlight it with video and emotion will always provide good engagement. Niche or small businesses can scale reach via shareable, relatable content, even if it's started local. And treat marketing as storytelling, which everybody should do. It doesn't matter what industry you're in or what vertical. Not just selling. Connect, entertain, and delight, and people will share, and they'll start to build that brand affinity.
Yeah. So, some key marketing lessons for 2026. So, as we wrap up our 2025 marketing recap, the Naughty and Nice campaign alike, there are some big lessons that we need to carry forward into 2026. So, these aren't just theoretical tips, they're actionable takeaways that you can apply in your business or marketing strategy for next year. The first one is focus on authenticity and connection. So, people crave that realness. Audiences respond to brands that feel human, relatable, and transparent. Share some behind the scenes stories, show people behind the brand and focus on creating moments that your audience can actually relate to, especially with the advent of AI this year and how AI heavy, I guess, our whole industry has been, the whole world has been. People are going to start knocking back on the AI content and start focusing on that authenticity. And it's going to be that content that really shines in 2026.
That's right. Now, you'd also want to keep your messaging clear and consistent through all channels. Confusion kills engagement and trust. Even clever campaigns can fail if the audience doesn't understand the message, which is why a lot of B2B businesses fail, actually, is because their positioning and messaging is all wrong. Audit your messaging across all platforms, including your website, social ads, email, and just make sure the core message is unmistakable and aligned with your brand.
Yeah. Be bold but thoughtful with your creative risks. So, some of the biggest wins in 2025 came from campaigns that took risked, unusual storytelling, humor, or interactive elements. And don't be afraid to try new ideas or formats. You should always A/B test things, but always ensure that they fit your brand and your audience. You can test, gather the feedback, and you iterate from there.
100%. And pay attention to trends, but don't blindly follow them. TikTok dances, AI memes, or viral challenges are tempting, but not every trend is right for your brand. Evaluate trends critically. Does it make sense for your brand? Can it enhance your story? Not dilute it.
Yeah. And the last one is plan campaigns with intent. So test, measure, and iterate. Even the small, seemingly spontaneous campaigns can benefit from that intentional planning and coming up with a strategy so you know your objective, your measure engagement and conversions. Then you can iterate in the future. And use a simple framework for your every campaign. So, objective, what are we trying to achieve? Execution, how will this campaign look or feel? Measurement, how will you track your success? And iteration, what can be improved for the next time? So, next week on the Adonis Effect, as we kick off 2026 with a focus on growth and strategy, we'll show you how to set clear business goals, optimize marketing plans, and build systems that actually scale. So you can start off the year strong and avoid any unusual overwhelm. So don't miss it.
Ho, ho, ho!
We'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.